It's incredibly shocking to me how still in this current year we have a gaming industry that is doing multiple things wrong, yet still refusing to learn those actual lessons, completely ignoring the actual consumer and customer base that put all these billion and trillion dollar companies where they are today right now, while at the same time turning their back on those actual customers and consumers. At the same time, completely ignoring every other major red flag happening in the space, watching the industry shrink as a whole, watching every major marketing blitz fall on its face, completely oblivious as to understanding why practically every AAA game coming out does not do the numbers it's supposed to, and also at the same time watching every other major publisher, developer, and studio chase the live service gold rush over and over again, trying to make that sweet money that everybody's trying to get after, yet at the same time falling on their face over and over again. We have gotten to the point right now where practically every single year, or almost even every single quarter, we are watching a brand new studio shut its doors. And not only are publishers and developers shutting down studios that could literally go through and make them a ton of money, they're also laying off and firing thousands of employees every single fiscal year, all at the same time while completely ignoring the literal users whose money they're trying to obtain every single time. These companies, these studios, these publishers, these guys act like they are owed our money in the first place. And then when they don't get our money, they throw a tantrum and a hissy fit and lay off tons of people. Or hell, even shut down a studio. In fact, PlayStation just did this the other day. According to Push Square on Twitter, Sony's disastrous first-party leadership culminates in yet another studio closure. Oh, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are off to the races. You thought the news was only going to be about Epic Games and their inability to compete with Steam? No. You see, it turns out that the entire gaming industry yesterday is literally just going around and slashing everybody that they can, all before the fiscal year ends at the end of March. Congratulations, everybody else in the gaming industry just got played. PlayStation has been on an absolute tear the last 5 years, shutting down studios, canceling games, doing everything they possibly can to save themselves from actual financial ruin, all at the same time while putting out the most mediocre garbage live service AAA slop you've ever actually seen with Marathon. And the biggest problem is they're not looking inward to see that it's the leadership that's the problem. No, they're going around and saying, you know what? I've got a golden parachute. All these other employees cost us too much money, while those same C-suite executives turn around and do every inconceivable idiotic decision that could possibly put the gaming landscape in a worse situation overall. And the craziest part is that's going to be a massive common theme throughout today's video. According to the article by Push Square, Dark Outlaw Games, led by Treyarch veteran Jason Blundell and officially acknowledged last year, has been shuttered before it can even ship a game. Many of you will recall that the Los Angeles-based studio was born from the ashes of Deviation Games, a studio partnered with PlayStation and working on a first-party project before it was closed a couple of years ago. It continues a dreadful decade of Sony decision-making, which has seen it acquire and shutter a slew of studios, including most recently Blue Point Games. Here's a total list of first-party studio closures since the PS5's launch year. 2020, Manchester Studio. 2021, Japan Studio. 2023, Pixel Opus. 2024, London Studio. 2024, Firewalk Games. 2024, Neon Koi. 2026, Blue Point. And 2026, Dark Outlaw Games. Oh yeah, things are going from bad to worse. Not only are we watching PlayStation and many others literally shut down studios, cancel projects that could be exactly what so many gamers want, we're watching the gaming industry contract literally upon itself. If games don't go out and make $1 billion day one, week one at $80 a pop, no company wants to even sell it. If there's no recurring business model or way to monetize or attract players to spend more money, game studios don't want to push it. Yet here we see the entire AA and indie scene completely capsize the entire AAA space, all because these companies have ineffective leadership, are unable to actually do anything correctly, and have the wrong people whispering into their ears on a consistent basis. And the problem is, all of these companies, PlayStation included, and even Xbox and many others, are doing the one thing that everybody has been trying to do since the late 2010s, maybe even earlier, and they're trying to chase that Fortnite live service bag. Well, apparently Fortnite isn't the actual golden calf that everybody's been wanting to try and emulate or even copy, because even Epic Games has been having its own issues, and they have Fortnite, and they have their own engine, which they lease out, and they have buckets of cash, yet at the same time, for some reason, they're also firing employees on top of this. Yeah, it's bad when even Fortnite doesn't have enough money. Because according to PC Gamer, Epic Games lays off more than 1,000 employees. We're spending significantly more than we're making, CEO Tim Sweeney says. Did we just hit this revelation out here in 2026? Is that what happened? Oh, guys, we're spending way too much money than we're actually making, so we're going to have to lay off the 1,000 people in our studio. Not to mention, these are actual people who've gone through and literally kept Fortnite alive for the past decade plus. Oh, but you know what? Don't worry. We're not going to fire the leadership that literally made all those decisions to spend all that money every single time. Or how about the fact that Tim Sweeney put himself and Epic Games in legal battle after legal battle consistently over and over again? No, I'm not kidding. He literally said this himself. Tim Sweeney says Epic is losing billions fighting Apple and Google because it can afford to, and jokes that we might run into serious financial problems after a couple more decades. This was back in January of 2025. Decades? Oh, buddy, decades? Yeah, no, it didn't last that. It lasted literally a year and 2 months, literally to the day, actually, which is really funny when you think about it. The thing is, though, Tim Sweeney's hubris and stupidity has continually hit the entire gaming industry. Not only has his behavior encapsulated basically everyone, but the fact that Epic Games had so much money to throw around to do these lawsuits is exactly what put them in this position in the first place. But even then, there's still more happening in the article by PC Gamer. And when you see it and hear it, it's going to make your head spin. Epic Games has laid off more than 1,000 employees, CEO Tim Sweeney says. The company is still spending significantly more than it's making as a result of an ongoing slump in Fortnite engagement that began in 2025, which has necessitated, quote, major cuts to keep the company funded. Sweeney said some of the problems facing Epic are an endemic to the game industry, such as, quote, current consoles selling less than last generations, while others are unique to Epic. Despite Fortnite remaining one of the most successful games in the world, we've had challenges delivering consistent Fortnite magic with every season, Sweeney wrote about the layoffs. There's more to cover about this, but Tim Sweeney is an actual fucking idiot. The current console generation has literally nothing to do with the amount of engagement in Fortnite. It also has absolutely nothing to do with Unreal Engine at all. The thing is, what Tim Sweeney is trying to do is create a mask or cover up about where the money is actually being spent with Epic Games. It could be the fact that the Fortnite magic is finally wearing off and the gaming industry could actually finally fucking wake up for once and provide customers a literal product that does what it's supposed to do without trying to poke and prod into their wallet every 30 seconds and providing massive amounts of dark patterns inside of their own UI. Yeah, don't forget that. Epic Games literally helped facilitate the entire dark pattern movement in UI design, and they got hit because of it. And if you don't know what a dark pattern is, don't worry. You've probably already been manipulated by it before. It's basically any sort of design choice that the UI has done to create any sort of FOMO or friction to make you spend more money, or even then promote misclicks and help guide you to in fact get more items into your cart, or even then at the same time buy season passes and battle passes, which all these companies love so very much. Great job, Tim. Keep it up. But the reality of this is in fact far more sinister. The actual hubris and stupidity of what Tim Sweeney has been doing every single time, literally going around and doing the exact opposite of what companies like Valve and Steam do on a consistent basis. Valve wants to go ahead and say AI should be disclosed to actual users. Tim Sweeney says, no, we shouldn't do that. AI doesn't even matter anymore. Just go ahead and shove it in there in the first place. You're fine. It's all good. Valve and Steam compete in the open market, giving users a better experience overall and trying to provide a better storefront and community for their actual users. What does Epic Games do? They launch a half-baked PC store that literally didn't have a shopping cart for multiple years, and then when they finally add one, everything else is broken on the site as well. Not to mention, all while this is happening, they're going around and throwing buckets of cash onto every single developer and actual studio to try and put exclusivity into the PC platform, which is an open platform, by the way, and forcing exclusivity to actually create a sense of FOMO for users on the PC space. Instead of competing directly with Valve and making a better storefront, they would rather try to entice you with exclusivity for a year plus while going around and just throwing cash onto everybody. And then let's also not forget the entire insane, idiotic battle that Sweeney has been having, not only with Valve and Steam, but in fact also with Google and Apple on top of it, going into legal fights on a consistent basis, spending billions of dollars in courts and legal fees because they didn't want to give 30% of transactions to these platforms and storefronts. Literally spending probably more money on these actual cases than going around and just giving them the goddamn cut in the first place. The article continues by saying this: market conditions today are the most extreme we've seen since the early days of Epic, which was founded in 1991 and officially became Epic Mega Games the following year, Sweeney wrote. But there's also massive opportunity for the companies that come out as winners on the other side, he added, which is what Epic is now focused on. The layoffs come just over 2 years after Epic laid off more than 800 employees, cuts that occurred in September of 2023 for essentially the exact same reason. We've been spending way more money than we earn, Sweeney said at the time. He said in October of 2024 that Epic was financially sound after spending the previous year rebuilding and really executing solidly on all fronts. It also follows just 2 weeks after Epic raised the price of Fortnite V-Bucks, saying the cost of running Fortnite has gone up a lot. So he's a liar. That's what it is. He's an actual liar, literally using the exact same line that he said back in 2024 when he fired 800 people, saying it again, firing now 1,000 people. We spent more than we make. Well, clearly, stop spending the money. Were the layoffs worth it? Was all the bad publicity worth it? Was basically being the entire pariah of the PC gaming space absolutely worth it? You went out an actual tirade for years trying to fight a 30% cut against Valve and Steam because you knew from the very beginning you had nothing to stand on. You didn't have a storefront. You weren't trying to compete. What you were trying to do was bully everybody out and then put yourself as the only piece of competition. It's exactly why you were trying to go through and push everybody down out of the 30% cut. Not for the goodness of developers, but what you were trying to do was bankrupt every other platform that had their entire business model around that 30%, because at the time you were able to afford it because of those Fortnite V-Bucks, which you then had to increase in price of. And you weren't here trying to compete with Valve. You weren't trying to compete with Apple or even Google or any other platform. You were trying to be the de facto by hook or by crook. And the only way you knew that you could do it was try to push your weight around with financial stability. But it turns out that you spent a lot of money getting a lot of nowhere. You may have won the court case to get your games back onto the mobile platform, but you're so far behind in actual monetary and money earned back that you're now squeezing out your entire consumer and customer base, and at the same time firing almost 2,000 people in just the span of 2 years because you cannot financially understand what you're doing to the literal business and the company. Epic Games used to be good. Now they're nothing more than a literal traitor to PC gaming, and hell, even to the gaming industry. Evanosaurus on Twitter said this: guess who got laid off today? I'm genuinely so confused and bewildered. Like I spent the past week debugging the rivalry system while recovering from pneumonia. And just in the past few days, I had multiple directors tell me how much they appreciate everything I do. And if you're not sure who Evan is, well, it turns out he is the principal engineer at Epic Games, Fortnite, and Unreal Engine. The principal engineer at Epic Games got laid off because Tim Sweeney is too fucking incompetent to do anything right in the first place. Gets into legal battles, gets into fights with Steam, tries to do the stupidest thing possible, and yet here we are watching everybody that can literally fix all the stuff that Tim Sweeney wants to do get laid off in the process. You gotta love it. Good job, Sweeney. Way to go, brother. You're going to catch up to Gabe Newell in no time. I guarantee it, clown. Boop NL quote tweets Evan saying this: the person who runs all the server capabilities and the special patches to host Fortnite LANs just got laid off. Also, whose responsibility for like 99% of bug patches towards competitive as well. Are we cooked? Fortnite is absolutely cooked. Epic Games is completely cooked because what you have running at the helm is complete idiots doing everything they can to, instead of actually holding leadership accountable, they're firing everybody else and putting themselves at the center of protection throughout the entire process. And it goes to show that every gaming company, no matter who they are, no matter what they are, will always put themselves in that point of position to make sure they're the ones that are protected while sacrificing everybody else in the company, and also sacrificing the entire gaming industry on top of this. Tigo is a dead man says this: when the company behind the most successful live service game decides to do mass layoffs, that's how you know the state of the industry is terrible. And Tigo is absolutely correct. What you're watching right now isn't something that just happened randomly out of nowhere. What you're watching happening right now with Fortnite is a literal warning to the gaming industry, as every other major publisher and developer has been chasing that kind of monetary income for the longest time, ever since Fortnite in fact took off. At the same time, watching Epic Games and Tim Sweeney attack Valve and Steam over and over again, as Valve literally just does nothing and keeps winning. There's a great quote I keep hearing all the time: whenever your opponent is making a mistake, don't say anything. That's probably why Valve does nothing and keeps winning. As Sweeney and his cohorts continue to attack the gaming industry, as they continually set up the entire precedent that every gaming company has to make X amount of dollars on a consistent basis by monetizing their users, either by hook or by crook, every other game publisher and developer takes those notes and applies it to their own games, creating the entire enshittification of the gaming industry on its own. But now the chickens are in fact coming home to roost. We've talked about how the entire gaming industry itself has been reeling in the face of AA and indie games every single time, and so many other games that literally go through and earn your dollar, not because they try to monetize you every single moment, but because they give you a full complete product right up front without any sugarcoating or bullshit behind it. Or if they do fuck up, they turn on and say, hey look, our bad, we screwed up, here's the actual fix that we're gonna do for you guys and make sure our customers are taken care of first. Tim Sweeney's moronic, idiotic hubris is exactly what is causing this gaming industry to collapse on its own. He is what I would consider to be the actual inflection point, going through and trying to fight Valve in the worst possible way. Instead of actually fighting for the customers and consumers, Tim Sweeney decided to take the fight to the corporation, and that's not how things work in this space anymore. It might have worked that way back in the 90s and the early 2000s, but right now we're sitting in a different economy. We're sitting in an attention economy, a space where customers and consumers have more choice than ever before, and the entire backwater bullshit behavior that we're seeing every single time by companies like Epic Games and Fortnite doesn't fly anymore. People don't jive with it, and people are more capable of saying, you know what, I'm gonna go where I'm respected. They either go to Steam or they go to GOG, and it happens every single time. And every time these companies try to fight these two behemoths in the gaming space, they always end up losing, refusing because they don't understand what makes these companies so great. They don't understand why people actually love Steam or GOG in the first place. What they think about is the money that's being spent there. And the problem is Valve had to earn that money after 20 plus years of fucking up on a consistent basis. GOG had to earn that money by doing the right thing for the customers and consumers and giving DRM free products and putting the customer first. These studios, these companies, people like Tim Sweeney and Epic Games, they don't get this concept, and they're going to keep losing billions of dollars over and over again until the entire studio or publisher shuts down and closes its doors for good. If you want to know why I like Steam and Valve so much, you let me know when another company does everything Valve does and better. I've been waiting for it, but still, turns out nobody's ever stepped up to the fucking plate. Look, I really hope that the 1,000 people that were affected by Tim Sweeney's complete idiotic stupidity find another job very quickly and are able to get back up on their feet. But the thing is this, Epic Games is going down a downward spiral. And the moment that Fortnite closes its doors, which honestly, the way things are going, it's not going to be looking pretty good for the next couple of years. The gaming industry will in fact continue to make these stupid decisions done by every other market leader in the space, even though they clearly know it is the wrong decision to make. But with all that being said, I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comment section down below. What would it take for Epic Games to in fact make you a customer on their storefront? And do you think they could actually do the one thing they've been trying to do for the longest time? Properly compete with Steam? Me personally, no, and hell fuck no. But speaking about what you guys got to say, here in fact is the comment of the day from yesterday's video, with Lord Dave the Kind saying this: empathy and CEO cannot be in the same sentence. You know what, Dave? That's not your name anymore. Your name now is Dylon. Dylon. Because you spit hot fire. That's an old Chappelle Show joke. You should definitely watch Chappelle Show. If I just aged myself, go back and watch Chappelle Show. You trust me, you're gonna love it. I guarantee it. But as always, if you want to see more of this kind of content, more hot takes on the gaming industry, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, and fanboy content, subscribe to the channel. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Just come on down Saturday nights live right here on the channel at 8:45 p.m. Eastern as I wear a banana suit and get insulted by about 800 people with TTS. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!